Hello, listeners. Welcome to Brewing Talks. And I'm Madhulika, your host for the show. And I'm so glad to be back with a very, very interesting episode. I think over these weeks and, since the time we started season 2, I had the privilege of having these amazing creative mindsets, talking about different and varied topics, right? And I think it's so insightful, all the business owners and brand custodians and the aspiring marketers to know what's really happening in this world of marketing and advertising today. So here we are with yet another interesting episode of Brewing Talks. And to sort of speak on this topic, which I'm going to come a little later, we have a very, very special guest that I'm going to converse with. Her name is C Lekha. Lekha is actually an independent brand reputation and corporate communication consultant. She has more than 2 decades of experience, working with varied industries, be it telecom, technology, aviation. Aviation was her last sector where she was spearheading the corporate communication for Indigo Airlines. So, I mean, a great brand when it comes to an aviation case study, talking about brand reputation and marketing. So, Lekha, first of all, welcome to Brewing Talks.
Thank you very much, Madhulika. It's a pleasure to be here.
So, Lekha, I think, why don't we start this conversation, before we get into what the topic is going to be about. First, tell us about your journey overall.
So, you've kind of made a little bit of a reference to it, Madhulika. It's been about 25 years now working in this industry. And in a way, I would say I've been very consistent. It has been corporate communications, media relations, and brand building. That has been the, as I say, the 3 pillars of what my career stands on. Right. I have worked across very many companies, very many organizations in this journey, and it's been fantastic overall. So be it the likes, I did start, my career with the side of technology, infrastructure, then moved to telecom, then moved back to telecom infrastructure. So it's been one hell of a roller coaster ride there. Right. But my last foray, I would say, with Indigo, which is where I spent 6 years now, has been the most, how should I say, the most exciting journey of my career. So right. Yes, it's been fantastic. Aviation was a completely new sector for me. But now after 6 years, I can say I'd rather not be anywhere. So it's just been great.
True. Absolutely. Wonderful. I mean, yeah, and it's so interesting for a marketer or a brand communication professional to work with varied industry, because it gets you so much of that creative confidence, and you sort of know everything that works when it comes to different sectors and industry and come to marketing and advertising, right?
Yeah.
Perfect. Great. Okay. So now I'm directly jumping to the topic, which is the reason why we are conversing today. Very, very interesting topic. I'm sure I don't have to say much about it, because today it's on everybody's agenda of conversation, discussions, deep research, everything. So it's about AI. Now, again, coming to AI, I think AI is a vast topic. It's a topic that we can go on and on for at least 3 to 4 episodes in one go. But I think there are different aspects of understanding about AI from a brand reputation, corporate communication, marketing perspective, and otherwise, right? So here we are not really getting into technical aspects of what AI is, how AI works, but we are going to focus on how AI is impacting the organizations, how AI is impacting the brands. And I think the most important part of our conversation is going to be about AI versus human. I think I may not be saying it right, but there cannot be an AI versus human. But there are different ways of looking at it. People have different opinions. There has been debates about AI replacing humans in a lot of sectors, a lot of industries as well. So let's hear it from Lekha. Lekha, so first tell us these more than 2 decades of experience that you had. I think when you started, obviously that time, even digital would have been at a very nascent stage. But let's say you've also seen AI coming up gradually, right, in India, in sectors that we are working with. What has been your experience of using AI as an area in your sphere of work so far with different brands, let's say?
Right. So I'd be very upfront and say that it's not been with different brands. I have actually used AI in my last vocation, which was with that Indigo, because AI as such has as they say, burst the bubble, let's say post-COVID in very
Correct.
many ways,
Correct.
right?
Correct. Correct.
And so it's been 3 years of kind of getting our hands around, trying to understand what this space is all about and
Mm-hmm.
how we incorporate into our daily, work lives and lives overall. So I think,
Mm-hmm.
let me say the only thing constant in life is change. And the
Mm-hmm.
world of marketing and communication is going through a tremendous change.
Right.
There is
Right.
now there is artificial intelligence marketing, which
Yeah.
is taking on a bigger advent. Then there is intelligent marketing. That now there are intelligent marketing tools like generative AI. So
Right.
sort of looking at NLPs,
Mm-hmm.
etc. So I think it is in our hands to understand which tools to pick up and how
Mm-hmm.
they can bring value to what we are already doing in our current spaces.
Right.
In my, just to kind of give you an example, I do think whatever we do with AI,
Mm-hmm.
it's great for collating data. It's great for doing repetitive tasks,
Mm-hmm.
giving us or freeing up our time to do more strategy stuff. So
Yes.
we have kind of incorporated that. We've picked up AI, in my last role. We have looked at picking up artificial intelligence tools to understand our customers better.
Mm-hmm.
When you have a large group of data which can be analyzed, which can be, let's say, demarcated into various buckets, and it gives you an insight to sort of customize your offerings.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's what you are telling the customer, whether it's what you're building for the customer, so your entire forte of, let's say, the products and services or the basket of products and services that you offer to the customer,
Mm-hmm.
if it has that customized feel, when
Yeah.
you've understood the customer better, I think those are the areas that primarily we have looked at artificial intelligence to help us get better insights, help us
Mm-hmm.
get better direction, and also
Mm-hmm.
help us get closer to the customer by
Mm-hmm.
offering them what we think they are, or from whatever data we analyze, we see this is what would make them more satisfied. So, enhancing customer satisfaction using these tools has been primarily something that we've been looking at.
Okay, perfect. So, how is, as I said, every person has a different way of viewpoint of how AI, because I think even today, I think it's at a very, very nascent stage, even though we feel that
Yeah.
AI is being used, but I think it's being used in very bits and pieces. And I think if you talk about a creative industry, whether it's creative agencies or it's organization dealing in brand marketing, I think it's a lot to do with generative AI that is being widely used, right?
Yeah.
From images point of view, content creation point of view, or
Yeah.
video making point of view. Uh,
Yeah.
if there is an area we define as corporate communication, or let's say brand reputation, how do you see the role of AI being played in this area, or whether it really does exist that, things can be much more strategic in nature or can have better insights with the help of AI?
Definitely, Madhulika, because while I'm not producing, let's say, ads or a creative content via
Mm-hmm.
AI, you rightly said what we are using extensively is generative AI.
Yeah.
So AI it's kind of transforming the landscape by giving us a better understanding of the audience. It's
Mm-hmm.
creating, it helps us create more targeted communication. It
Mm-hmm.
also helps us measure the effectiveness of our efforts. So
Mm-hmm.
that all kind of really helps us improve what we present to our customers, even if it's a communication piece,
Mm-hmm.
more effectively, something
Mm-hmm.
that would be more relatable to the consumer, because those are the kind of insights, those are the kind of, let's say, words that the customer wants to really hear. That's
Mm-hmm.
one thing. The other thing is also, like I said, because AI is, it also helps us with monitoring results. So, if they
Yeah.
can help us, for example, for reputation management,
Right.
if AI tools can help me monitor, let's say, negative sentiments, which are in real time, choose the right influences that will kind of make us, put our communication, which will change or orient the consumer mind in the
Mm-hmm.
right direction. Also,
Mm-hmm.
if we, kind of look at providing proactive customer communication, customer care packages,
Mm-hmm.
or care, let's, kind of bringing all this out. So I think from a reputation management point of view, also, AI plays a very effective, or goes hand in hand of a tool
Mm-hmm.
that we would like to utilize effectively to
Right.
reach our customers better.
Okay.
Also, another very important, sort of area is competitive intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
I know we have a lot of data. I know we have a lot of reports, but suppose I'm creating, let's say, a communication piece for any of my senior leaders. For me
Mm-hmm.
to just get on to, let's say, ChatGPT, or today there are, so many, DeepSeek, let's say,
Mm-hmm.
and quickly go on to say what was being said by so and so. It gives me a point blank 4 pointers right there to say these were the key messages. So what am I to do? How am I supposed to orient my piece? It just gives you that little framework.
Right.
It can never replace, I am going to, we'll talk about this later. It can never replace human intelligence. It can
Mm-hmm.
never replace human sort of empathy, if I may say so, but it can
Mm-hmm.
definitely provide you the data or a framework within which you can fill in what you want. That's how I'm looking at it.
Correct, correct. Yeah, I think the whole topic, the theme of today's episode is focusing on whether AI is posing a challenge to the way, humans
Yeah,
are going to be gradually replaced in specific
yeah.
areas. But yeah, I think that's something that you rightly said. It's also about balancing it. At the same time, it's
Yeah.
about how much AI can complement, human capabilities rather than competing with them at the end of the day. Correct?
Yeah, yeah.
Any, Lekha, any one practical case study that you want to highlight? Maybe you mentioned about the usage of AI in the case of Indigo, where it was more about customer service centric areas of focus, right? But any particular example that you want to give as a case study where AI was effectively used and how it translated in the best outcome that you wanted as a end result, for whether it's a campaign or it's a PR campaign for that matter, or whatever.
Yeah, sure. So I would go back to our, the campaign that we launched immediately after COVID, actually, or
Mm-hmm.
during COVID, let's say, not even after, because that was the time we were looking at, as you would be aware, that was one time airline business stopped completely,
Yeah.
right? And it slowly, gradually was given the leeway to kind of restart. We started with 25% of what we were when we shut down.
Okay.
And building that customer trust
Mm.
to come back and get on to that aircraft again was a massive journey for airlines around the world.
Correct.
We kind of went on to leverage a campaign called Lean Clean Flying Machine,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
And that was an outcome of a lot of analysis that was done through not just understanding the psyche of the customer from, let's say, customer surveys or what we were reading, but also artificial intelligence. So we
Hmm.
realized that one of the key things that the customer is going to look for is, besides hygiene, is
Hmm.
also how quickly airlines get back on their feet, how
Yeah.
quickly they're able to offer him or her the security that we are completely safe. In airline parlance, normally,
Hmm. Hmm.
safety
Hmm.
earlier meant only engine safety, aircraft safety, and making sure that that the plane was completely fit for flying.
Yeah.
To
Yeah.
change that parlance to say that no, it's not just the engines. Today we care about you, we care about your lives, we know that we hold your safety in our hands, and this
Hmm.
is what we're doing about it. So that entire campaign,
Hmm.
starting from why we called it, so the clean word was actually an outcome of a lot of generative AI stuff that we did, because we realized people who talk constantly saying health hai, hygiene hai, we have all of these things.
Hmm. Hmm.
But what did clean mean? Clean meant from the time the customer booked the
Hmm.
ticket
Yeah.
till the time that customer walks out of the airport with his bag.
Hmm.
Every aspect of that customer journey was kind of the word clean actually meant that it had absolutely areas where you did not need to interact with others. It was completely straightforward for you. It was completely hygienic. You could now book tickets online. You were booking your baggage tags online.
Hmm.
You
Hmm.
get to
Hmm.
the airport. You did not have to touch anything. You could walk straight to security. Nobody was
Yeah.
kind of, coming within a 6 feet distance of each other. Get onto the aircraft. Our aircraft, the people were placed in a manner that they were sitting apart. Our crew was poor people. They were looking like astronauts wearing the PPE suits and yet
Yeah.
smiling through their eyes. It was not easy. It was not an easy
Right.
task for anybody. Our
Right.
engineers were overhauling and ensuring there were disinfectants that were happening after every flight. They normally would. But the
Correct.
amount of care and concern to keep that cleanliness for you, to ensure
Hmm.
your safety, that is what
Hmm.
brought out that word. So, that's kind of building that campaign was
Hmm.
actually, a lot of it was an AI journey.
Oh, wonderful. That's interesting to know. Any challenges you have felt, or you feel even way forward when companies get more aggressive in the usage of AI and its tools for planning, for ideations, or for whatever, right? For whatever usage that they may think is most appropriate. What are the challenges you think our marketers or corporate communication professionals are going to face while using AI particularly?
This is completely my personal point of view,
Sure.
Madhulika, and
Sure.
subjective to how I see things. A lot of times, and I'm not just saying marketers or communicators, a lot of time, anything new that creeps in gets people swayed very easily. They get carried
Yeah.
away by it, right?
Yeah.
So generative AI is great. The technologies or the tools that we have to analyze your customer sentiments and what's etc. is great. But does it take away from the human angle? Does it take away from the human precision? I am not so sure about that. Okay, I am in fact, I am of the view that at the end of the day, it's an amalgamation of X number of human minds that has come together to produce this platform, right? So we kind of need to be the ones who use it and not get used by it. That is the challenge that I see.
Okay.
If AI is giving you an analysis or a data which logically your brain tells you is not exactly the right thing, it does not sound right. In that case, I would say to take a step back and counter check that from your own, from your own intelligence. I don't remember the case exactly, but there was something that a law court case happened somewhere in US, and the man kind of prepared his entire, sort of counter argument basis what AI had given him, which turned out to be completely false because AI had gone on to talk about a law which did not exist in the first place. So, you need to make sure that human intelligence kind of uses AI effectively and not get used by it. That would be my rider.
Right. In fact, I think most of the AI tools that we have a disclaimer in the end that, this is, please do double check some of the facts that we are stating, because that's exactly what even AI is telling you to do, right? So
yes, please.
Got to be a bit cautious here.
Yeah.
Great. So which industry, according to you, Lekha, is currently using AI at its optimum level, at this stage that AI is in, particularly in our country? I see immense use of AI in the banking sector today, right? Where even in the teleconning phase, I think it's the AI that takes over, and then the human intervention happens only when it is really, really required. So that's not just about cutting down the manpower, it's also about efficiency. When you don't need humans to do the basic IVR checks, you don't need them, right? So I think I've seen banking sector using it a lot. Any other sector that you would like to highlight is essentially making effective use of AI today?
I would, rather than sectors, look at areas that use AI effectively. So like you said, anything to do with repetitive tasks, whether it's a call center, customer care, whether it is to do with, let's say, accountings of certain, volumes that happen in certain companies, whether it's at a CA office or whether it's at a tax office, or if there is anything that kind of, for example, basic data processing, or kind of just ensuring that a certain product has a certain seal at the end of its, sort of factory line. Those kind of areas, whichever industry might be using these areas. For example, even for a call center, customer care, we do it as well. We launched something called Dotty, which is an AI assistant that is available on our website, and it's doing exactly what a banking, sort of assistant does for you, or an online assistant does for you. So I would look at sectors, repetitive tasks which do not require any kind of modulations to be done, which are away from, let's say, emotional intelligence. I would say those are the kind of tasks that AI would be absolutely super to take on.
Absolutely. Great. Okay, so Lekha, I'm now coming to the main area of our conversation today. I think you've answered it in bits and pieces, though, or rather you've given your personal viewpoint to this. But see, I've practically seen, I run a brand marketing firm myself, right? So a lot of times I hear my own clients saying that, I'm going to double check the kind of content that's sent to me, because I want to make sure that it's not written by AI. So while people want to go all the way using AI effectively and appreciate AI, but there's always this thing that where is your human element here? Where is the creative element, which is original, correct? As I said, there has been numerous debates on, organizations have a fear that their originality may get compromised because they start using generative AI for a lot of their content pieces or whatever, for that matter. what is this whole war happening between AI and human? Where is the insecurity in the first place? Because humans have created AI. But how do they start fearing, or where does this question come? And the secondly, why is also there's a little bit of negative sentiments involved in the usage of AI when they know that it's a lot to do with your prompt, correct? And if your prompt is set right and it's original, there are chances when your output is going to match that originality, correct? So, as I said, I think I've given you different aspects of what you want, what I want to hear from you as well.
Yeah. Okay, so let me pick it up in bits and pieces, and I'm going to start with an analogy. You know, you go to any designer shop, or you go to any Zara, let's say, and you pick out a top, right? You pick out something that you would like to wear, and then you realize that there are 20 pieces of the same design, and at some point in time, the law of Murphy's law says that you will bump into somebody who's wearing exactly what you're wearing. So I think why I'm using this analogy is to tell you what is the fear. So when, if I can think of a prompt which generates a certain content, a certain, let's say, creative output, the chances are that somewhere somebody in the world would have also kind of, reached out or may get a similar output and may decide to use it. So there is this whole element of why originality. That is one fear. But I would say, that is as such, that should be the only fear, because I do not see machines and men as kind of, enemies, or the fact that they are competing against each other. I see them as complementing each other. So to me, AI is actually a tool of something that would enable me to do my task better. Can it replace me? I don't think so. Because at the end of the day, like I have said earlier, it is a combination of what has been produced by mankind, with, let's say, 20,000 brains put together to create the content that was sitting there, but it still cannot put out what is happening in my brain right now. Correct. Because that is always going to be dated data. This is going to be what I am feeling, thinking, coming out with originally right now. So I think it's a combination of these two that should produce amazing results. So I would say, AI is something that can help you in tasks that require speed, accuracy, data analysis, or, I would also say it makes it ideal for repetitive or data-driven tasks. It is also good. Generative content is also good to give you a bit of a framework to, something that you want to, let's say, produce for a customer or a stakeholder. But it can never take away from the fact that you should be sitting on it and doing your own analysis. Always, always, always look at a piece or a content that you create out of AI and add your own bits to it, because AI will never know the experience that you have, the thoughts that you have. A very important thing is engagement with your customer. AI can give you a machine-led response. What it cannot give you is a human, empathetic, warm, led response. That is something that only a human would be able to do, whatever future it might belong to. So I think the fear with originality is that why AI is not something that you should be looking at, oh my God, it's going to take my job, but more like it's an amazing tool that has been given to me, and I should be able to put it to use effectively.
Right. And I think it's maybe because AI is still relatively very new, right, in our sphere of work or whatever industries. So maybe people have not understood the intelligent way of using artificial intelligence in the sense, I was attending a talk show very recently on how to actually create a film with the help of AI and generative AI, to be very specific, right? And there are different tools for images. You can lift it from here, video stuff you can edit from here. There are editing AI tools available. So all that is great. But when the end result, what comes out from an AI will never be the same when it's actually shot with human emotions, correct? Yeah, that can never be compared. But I think what I realized while listening to that talk show was, it can be a great starter for creative professionals, right? So for example, if I want to create a storyboard where I want a certain specific direction for my film or for my brand video or for whatever, right? I think that storyboard definitely can be created and can be a great starting point. Right. So I think, and that's where it ends. From there on, I think the human intervention starts, and that's where the human talent gets into the picture. So I think that drawing the line of where to use AI, where it can benefit you and where it can be a more of a threat to the way you function needs to be clearly understood by the professions today, I feel.
Absolutely with you on this, Madhulika. It's like saying a 4-year-old boy or a 4-year-old child has been given a robot to play with, right? So I think he's going to have to adapt and learn and maybe become 8 years old for him to be able to use the robot effectively. Till then, happy for him to be playing with cars, etc., etc. So I think that's where we are. We are on, I would say, not a cusp really, but we are on that learning curve. The cusp has not come. I don't think so. We are still there. We are on a learning curve. We'll take time to understand how to use these capabilities effectively.
Correct. Also, but do you think, Lekha, I think it could be a bit of a debate as well, but do you think somewhere it's also been a wake-up call for humans? What I'm trying to say is that this whole advent of AI coming up and the so-called fear and insecurity of people losing job because of AI getting stronger has sort of been a wake-up call for people who have sort of got into that complacent mode of way of working, I think it's time to pull your socks, it's time to pull up your socks and give your best outputs. I'll tell you why I'm saying this, because let's say if I ask you a question, right, that today when you are building your own team and you want to recruit a set of Gen Zs or people, you want in your team or whatever, right, for certain position like a mid-level or a junior level position, would you rather have efficient AI tools without the fear of one day suddenly, people getting absent, not showing up, or just suddenly saying that I'm just moving on, I cannot turn up for work the next day onwards, and you running helter-skelter and, looking out for how to reduce your attrition levels in an organization. So at such point, you feel, I think, let me just give this message to them that I think AI is here. We have a choice to replace you with AI, so you better pull up your socks. Do you think this kind of thinking does come to our mind of, when we're struggling to find the right set of mindsets at times?
I would say we as a race have been given a lot of wake-up calls previously as well. So, for example, when the dot-com burst happened or the boom happened, everybody thought, oh my God, computers are going to become supercomputers and they will replace humans. And many such episodes have happened with all the technological advancements that we have, right? Like you said, will I make that choice? I'll again give it, I love speaking in analogies because I think it makes people understand better. So if AI is, in my view, suited for tasks which are which are in a closed loop, right?
Correct.
Where there are rules which are clear and consistent, where there are, so for example, like a data analysis or assembly line, right?
Correct.
Humans, as such, are open systems. We are adaptable, we are creative, we are emotional, and we have long-term strategic thinking. Would I replace an AI tool with somebody who I need in my team? My answer for today, as I see things, would be a no. I would rather add the human along with AI to give me a complete package. But having said that, we also hear how robots have replaced, let's say, tasks which are repetitive, right? For example, at home. All of us were using these little mini robots to clean our houses during COVID. I think we still do. So would I have an artificially intelligent, sort of a robot or whatever machine looking after my household tasks, which are repetitive, which are going to happen on a daily basis, where then I don't have to worry whether my help is coming, not coming, she's sick, not sick. Yes. I would do it straight away. So you understand that is the demarcation I would make. Again, the same thing, tasks which require human adaptability, human thinking, human creativity, human empathy are tasks I would say can never be replaced by AI. I know I'm making a generic statement, but I do believe that these are qualities that we as human beings imbibe. I know, again, a lot of people come back and say, oh, we are filling up. A lot of robots are today now being given emotions, etc.
Correct.
But I would still say that, it's going to be a complementary sort of future rather than a replacement future.
Understood. Absolutely. Yeah, no, that's, and it's amazing to hear this insight from you because, it's, as I said, we all look at it very differently. So, but I think it's down the line, we are all arriving at a conclusion that, AI can never replace what a human can give you. As long as, but there are a lot of process driven areas which can easily be, sort of have more effective results coming out of AI as a tool.
Yeah.
What's the way forward, Lekha, now? So, I think it's just the beginning. right? We've just started
Oh,
as such,
absolutely.
and we have a long way to go. But let's say, how do you see AI being used down the line over like next 5 years? Where do you see AI reaching organization in the area of communications, marketing, branding, etc., or organization as a whole, or business as a whole?
Yeah,
I would say.
yeah. I would look at it as a stepwise process.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we've just started out. It's a very nascent stage
Yeah.
where we are in understanding the intelligence of AI and using it effectively.
Mm-hmm.
So organizations who want to do that need to have, I think, a 4 or 5 step process. First of all, establish your goals. What is it? Have a clear definition that where you want to use this intelligence, assessing your past campaigns, setting meaningful, let's say, key performance metrics for the future, and then to evaluate success really. So I think the first thing an organization needs to do is establish some goals for themselves, how they want to utilize. The other one would be acquire the talent. So I think hiring or partnering with AI experts, maybe data scientists, maybe engineers, to ensure that we have a successful implementation and a maintenance program. Yeah.
Right.
The third, in my view, would be adhering to privacy laws. Very important that we understand and we are compliant with the data regulations throughout our AI training as we kind of incorporate it into our organizations. And also, implement processes that are that maintain customer trust and customer safety, and of course avoiding any legal issues for sure. That's not where an organization would want to go to.
Absolutely.
Then I think it is all about understanding or testing the data quality. I think it's very important for an organization, like I have said previously, is prioritize your accurate and relevant data to ensure your AI solutions provide reliable insights and recommendation. So use your intelligence over and above what you see it's coming out in front of you. And then, of course, at the end of it, choose the right solution. It is all about selecting the AI tools that align with what your requirements are, what your organizational goals are, whether though these have the capabilities to deliver what you need. So I think if you can you kind of demarcate it into these little 5 steps, I would say AI in terms of a future prospect should be something that should help us continue to enhance our social media management, customer insights, personalization and predictive analysis. So it has to be the synergy between human expertise and AI to bring out the right innovations, really.
Absolutely. No, these are, I think, were wonderful insights, Lekha, and I'm sure the listeners have sort of now have come to the terms very, very clearly, though we will still have differences of opinion here. But I think it's a very clear thing that humans are, the kind of intelligence and the impromptu and the agility in their thinking that they carry and the creative and the originality that they carry can never be replaced with, I think in the creative sector that we talk about, anything to do with creative output, that comes out from businesses or creative agencies or creative businesses can never see AI as the primary area of usage of their, it can always be a tool which can help them deliver better things, save their own personal time and stress in doing a lot of activities which otherwise would have consumed their own energies.
So much about that.
But I think that's where it sort of stops or would stop. I think one very important thing came out from your side at the end of the conversation was, a lot of these, regulations. And I think what also lacks today is how much do we know about AI, right? I mean, how much have we really understood the subject in totality? So I think a lot of experts who have understood AI to an extent would ideally like to come out and, share more of the content that is available to them, with the world, so that people like us, and people who are just beginning to use AI in their own sphere can be well versed and more knowledgeable and more confident of using AI in the right way. Right. So, and I think we've also seen examples of the way AI sometimes have been used negatively, right? So that's where the data privacy and the regulations will come into full force.
So I'd like to make a point here, Madhulika. Just like social media, when we had started out, we really did not know what were the boundaries, what the framework was going to look like, how was it to be used, how it would be abused or misused. I think as we've gone along that journey,
Yeah.
we've kind of come, we've understood what are the dimensions. More laws have been, coming in place. A lot of nations are doing what they need to do to protect their data, etc. As far as social media goes, I think the same journey will apply to AI as it becomes
Correct.
more, part of our day-to-day lives. We will understand the dimensions better and know where to draw the boundaries for
Absolutely.
our best use. Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely. I think very well said, Lekha. And let me conclude this episode by simply saying that I think it's just the beginning. We have a lots to learn. We have lots to evolve as professionals, be it any industry or any business. I think we have said this enough times that let's keep our originality intact. Let's use any tool for that matter, whether today is AI, tomorrow it's going to be something else as well, right? So whatever comes to us, let's be knowledgeable enough to use it in the right format and for the best optimum result that we can get out of it. And let's not rush too much into concluding anything for that matter, right? So let's take it at one step at a time. And I think AI is here to stay, and creativity of human minds is here to stay forever. So with this, I thank Lekha for being a part of Brewing Talks. And Lekha, I'm sure all the listeners, with your experience and your personal insights on how AI has been effectively used and can be used in organization, is going to be of immense benefit to all the listeners. Thank you once again for joining us.
Thank you, Madhulika. It's been wonderful talking to you.
I hope you enjoyed listening to this episode of Brewing Talks. Thank you for tuning in. Sign up and subscribe to Brewing Talks on eplog.media. You can also listen to this podcast on Ghana, Spotify, Apple, and Google. Catch up soon with our very next episode as I stir up marketing stories only on Brewing Talks.